Hello friends, welcome to another episode of Blossoms and Bourbon. My name is Mark. I'm the owner here at Creative Occasions. It's a pleasure to have you in my workroom. Tonight I am actually sipping on a product called Virginia Straight Bourbon Whiskey. It is from the Bondurant Brothers Distillery. I hesitated when I said that because I grew up with a family named Bondurant, but I've also heard it called Bondurant. So I'm not sure how this particular family pronounces it, but we're going to go with Bondurant because that's what I know. They have a family history of moonshine in Franklin County, and this distillery is actually in Chase City, Virginia, but this is sort of an homage to that ancestor of theirs. They still do make moonshine in the distillery, and they wanted their distillery to sort of be a living history lesson, which I think is kind of cool. So the color is a little bit lighter, which may just mean it's a little bit younger. It is a 90 proof. Oh, not bad. Not bad. Definitely those kind of vanilla, caramel notes, some of the spices that you typically get with a bourbon whiskey. Not bad at all. This is courtesy of Jason. Thank you so much for bringing that in. For the arrangement tonight, I want to do a very traditional style. I know that probably surprises you coming from me, but I want this to be a very traditional styled arrangement in sort of a triangle, because a triangle is sort of a classic form. So for those of you who are learning floral design, this is going to be kind of one of the basic elements that you might need to know. Again, going back to what I've told you before, we will establish overall height and width with the first 2 or 3 insertions. So I've got a green spider mum or fuji mum. I've got a red carnation. This is going to be just kind of a bit of a holiday coloration. We're going to do reds and greens and whites in this, just to kind of mentally get us prepared for the fact that, yeah, the holidays are coming. So what I'm doing is I'm going to kind of stair step these flowers down left and right as we're coming down from the top of the arrangement to the front. And then I'm also going to give it some arms with left and right, and that's what's going to create the triangle shape. So, the spider mums are definitely a focal flower, one that we want to have some more importance in the arrangement. I kind of like to get those in place first, kind of work around them. And you'll also notice from the side, as I came down, not only am I stair-stepping left to right, but I'm also stair-stepping out in front of the container. So this is going to be the back of the arrangement, this is going to be the front, and now you can see how that stair-step goes from left to right, okay, kind of zigzagging back and forth. We're going to take the last 2 fuji mums, or spider mums, we're going to make those the arms. And what's really going to function as the arms are some carnations. Let's give you a look at that first. And then this is where you'll really see the classic form of the triangle happening. There we go. So you can always do, a right angle on the triangle, which is more of an L-shaped design. When some of this weight that's here now would be kind of shifted over to this side, it would go like this in terms of its triangle shape. This I want to be a standard triangle, equal balance on both sides. I don't remember enough about geometry to remember what that's called, but that's what we're headed with this. All right, so I'm going to use some more form flowers to kind of fill in. And essentially once I get that shape of the triangle established, it is really just a matter of filling in. Okay, we'll go from the side again. You can still see that I'm still bringing flowers toward the front, but also filling in those spaces between the green fuji mums with the red carnations. So we're using the shape of the triangle, but filling it in. If you guys are enjoying and liking these videos, I hope that you'll take just a moment to like this one. And by all means, please remember to subscribe, hit that little bell icon so that you'll be notified when we have new content that's going up. We so appreciate your support and your time. All right, there's another side view. We're coming down almost to the front of the arrangement now. And front view, nicely shaped triangle. All right, So I'm going to do a little more filling in with some button mums. Button mums are just one of my favorite things. I just think that I love the shape of them. I love those little dense heads on them. And I'm going to kind of break that up. I'm going to use this one little bud at the top, get rid of some of that sketchy looking foliage. And again, I'm going to use that to fill in more space. Go there, take the break, leave this nice and long. That'll give us an element that fills up at the top. And then these guys fill in nicely over on the side. There's one that's missing its bloom, so we want to get rid of that one. There we go. All right, so we've got a nice level of fullness across the bottom with those shorter button mums that I cut off. We've got some filling in up here with the longer ones that I left. We're going to take just a couple more and fill in those open spaces in the center. And actually we can do that with this green alstromeria. I have often called alstromeria the grocery store flower before because it's one of those that you commonly see at the grocery store. It's a great flower. It's so long lasting. It's beautiful, opens up well. I'll leave a little bit more of that foliage on there so that kind of helps fill in. And there's a little hole right here in the center that you can see has kind of developed. So I'm going to take another red carnation and put it there. I think that we just need another spot of red in that. So now this form is one of the forms that you see often in very traditional work in shops. You might see it for a funeral. You might see it for a traditional sort of fresh arrangement that's one-sided. Sometimes in the business we call this three-sided because it's not really just about seeing everything from the front, but it's also about seeing it from both sides. So then it becomes a three-sided arrangement instead of just a one. I think that's good, actually. So I'm going to take a little bit of this Israeli ruscus. Again, I'm going to kind of section that in, tuck it in low just to cover the foam. One thing that just as a word of caution about when you're doing this with the flowers already in the arrangement, which of course they would be, as you're inserting these stems of greenery in, you want to make sure that you're being careful as you go past things like these spider mums because they will shatter. Just brushing past them can create those or cause those petals to drop off, and you certainly don't want that to happen. So just use some care. You can simply pull the flower aside as you put the greenery in, and it'll work just fine. I'm going to need a little more greenery in the back to cover the mechanics of this, but for now I want to show you how we finish this up. So I'm going to use a little bit of this white Monte Cassino aster as a filler. And again, color palette wise, I chose this because it adds into that whole Christmas thing that we're doing with red, green, and white. And these two help just to fill in some space. This too is a case where you can actually section this. So you can break this section off, use it here in the front where it needs to be shorter, use this here on the side where it needs a little bit more length. All right, there we go. A very traditional triangular shaped arrangement using kind of a stair-step placement as you started with the flowers that worked from the top to the bottom. Fill in with some more form flowers, especially, balance the coloring if you're doing colors like I have. If you're doing all one color in an arrangement, this is so much easier because you only have to think about the placement of the color. But try that. It's a good way to learn, kind of a good way to begin to get the foundations of basic arrangements. And then you'll have something lovely that you can share with a friend or even in your home. Thank you so much for joining us as always. It's been a pleasure. And until next time, cheers to you and to flowers every day. Thanks for joining.